Hey guys, EagleX from ATX EagleX Gaming here today. I know it's been a long time since we made a video, and we have a really fun one today to go over. Here joining me today, I have my friend PokeGeek or Inferno, if you want to say hello.
Hello, I'm PokeGeek22 or Inferno, as Zach said. I'm a longtime friend of Zach, and I'm here for the video.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of fun. We typically banter a lot, like back and forth. We'll have phone calls. We're talking about like meta decks, and I know you haven't seen these results yet, so it'll be a lot of fun to go over it. Because we talked like what's the best deck in format. We don't have this stencil. We don't have this template from Japan anymore. This is something that we're creating as not just like as NA players, Europe players, Japan players, but everyone is coming up with decks together, and we're seeing innovation come live time after time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone always talks about how Royal Knights is like the big scary guy this format, but it definitely underperformed at Worlds, so I'm excited to see what these results will show.
Yeah, I think at Worlds, I don't think anyone even brought it there, but like we saw pretty much like a big diverse deck selection at Worlds.
hmm
So we talked about, and I know I've told you, like we were talking like pre-ban list a whole lot, and then once we saw the ban list, like top three decks of the format. What would you say were the top three decks from your perspective before we get into
Oh,
these results?
before the ban list or after?
After.
After the ban list. I definitely think Royal Knights is obviously still a top three deck. I think Galaxy's a top three deck. And then the other spot's kind of in this weird spot. I would argue Sakuyamon, but a lot of people think it might be Imperial, Gallant. There's a lot of other really good decks. Either Imperial, honestly.
Yeah, I was just going to say which Imperial you're talking about. Yeah, because like I know I've made my opinions very clear on streams, like what I think's like a good deck or not. But I think it'll be fun to go over the event coverage. So here, if anyone who doesn't know, this is Eggman Events, a very good friend of the channel. But if you guys go over here to the Digimon section to 2.5, we'll take a look at some of our first events. So let's go ahead and start with the Pasadena Regional from this weekend. If we go down, we see these pie charts already, and I think it's not going to be a super big surprise from the first part. So we look at Pasadena to start with. This is our top 16 from a 375 person event, 9 rounds of Swiss, best of 3. So, very first glance, first thoughts, Landon, as we're taking a look at this. We talked about Royal Knights is up there, talk about Galaxy is there, but I think the big underdog deck,
Gallant Monster. It's
Gallantmon is there.
Levia.
Levia is back. And I know we have talked about this. You have mentioned you want to play Demon Lords with 4 Biting Crushes and 5 Levias.
I was absolutely saying that. I think Levia is absolutely insane this format because of the against Royal Knights you have that turn player priority, so it always benefits you. Your Biting Crush kills their Omekamon before they get to go into Omni when you hit security, or on the flip side, all their on plays happen when they break their egg from their Omnimon, and then your Levia goes off. It's in a really good spot, especially since Biting Crush can kill the Gallantmon. It passes turn, kills it. Everything's playing by effects right now.
Yeah, and like this guy's is not scripted at all. This is literally a conversation we have had for the past few weeks. Like it's nothing super crazy to what we were saying, but then it's really healthy. Like you see a lot of other decks peeking in. Virus Imperial finally does peek in here. It's a deck I don't have a lot of faith in, but if you have a lot of Royal Knights in the room, it will be doing a lot better. It also kind of gets preyed on by Levia too, to be fair. But anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at our topping list. Blue Green Imperial was the winning deck of the weekend. Pairband Mother Shoto, I think, is probably the biggest thing that buffed it this format.
Honestly, yeah, that's a pretty big buff. I mean, it's good to see the Stingmon pit didn't keep it down. It makes sense, though. I mean, really just looking at the list, the only thing I see that's different is a lot of one-ofs became two-ofs because the Stingmon restriction. Like, one Hexplow maybe became two, one Fighter Mode Ace became two. I think they were usually on two Hexaplow anyways, but a lot of one-ofs just became two-ofs.
Yeah, no HPD is the only thing I think is a little notable about this build, and that might just because it's a little harder to time it well if you can't draw into it as consistently, like you're saying from the Stingmon in here, not being once per turn.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's anything super crazy here about this deck list. It's kind of what we've been used to seeing with Imperial.
That's true.
And we're just going to kind of touch on all the one of unique decks here, because we can look at duplicate lists. They're probably going to be pretty similar from a glance. But now we're going into our first purple pile deck, Dark Animal Engine. Not touched by the ban list at all. And honestly, I think it's a deck engine that's good for the game, but maybe it's a little stronger than people anticipate. But right here, Levia making an appearance. We're talking about Biting Crush. Really good turn player priority against a lot of the relevant decks right now.
I was gonna say I'm kind of surprised only 2 Biting Crush, but because Levia can just go into Levia X, or your 5s with Protoform can go into Levia X without Biting Crush, it's not as needed, honestly.
Yep, I mean, when you
So,
build the deck around it, yeah, you do have the extra avenues for the Levia X from its trash effect. Because you got to check for the X ante, and if you protoformed a Dober X and then you end it on like a Serb, Drago, or Serb X, like you're effectively getting another Biting Crush effect.
mhm,
Yeah,
makes
so
a lot of sense.
yeah, that is Levia there. Looking at our third place list, Royal Knights. Now, this is a really cool, fun toolbox deck, and a lot of things we can probably talk about in these builds because there's a lot of things you'll see ratioed out, but Gatsumon making an appearance here. We've
Yeah,
talked about
that's
this.
crazy. It makes sense though. Gatsumon is crazy. He definitely floodgates the other Royal Knights and really anything that Levia is also hating on. So it makes sense. Levia's good. Gatsumon's good.
Yeah, and just to talk about Gatsumon a little bit more, this is a tech we started seeing played a lot more in Royal Knights. You might be thinking it's counterintuitive. You can't play your Digimon by effects. But if you're ending your turn with a Lord Knight that plays the Gatsu, you're in a good spot against Virus Imperial now, which is one of your worst matchup. You'll also see Crimson Blazes thrown into the deck, but Gatsumon just being a way to stop Virus Imperial from the Shadow promo chains. It also stops your opponent's Royal Knight deck from doing their special summons for the OTK with like Omni X shenanigans or BT13 Omnimon. It stops the Levia plays if they try using, was it the Drago guy that plays out the level 4 lower into your side? Yeah, so like this is like your premier go-to guy. You can't play by effects, so it stops the Biting Crushes. It won't stop the Levia X though over level 5.
Yeah, it stops a lot of stuff too. It even helps against Gallantmon because one of Gallantmon's biggest wins against Royal Knights is it can pass on with the Wargrowl X effect that says on deletion play Gilmon. So the Royal Knights would kill the stack, ending their turn, and then you just already have the rookie to rebuild. So that's a huge win for that matchup too.
Yeah, trying to see if there's anything else like super crazy noteworthy. We've seen all these cards ratioed in and out of the deck from time to time. The Gallantmon Ace is really good if you're able to have it on your board after you're going against like a Virus Imperial that has a giant trash, or it was formerly Purple Hybrid, but Purple Hybrid's obviously not as relevant now. But you just can potentially cheese out a game with it.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit. I'm interested. There's only one Ganku, one Alphamon. That kind of surprised me there.
Yeah, the Genku being a wild card, I love this card as a 3 of, but obviously, why need a wild card if you just put in more copies of the cards that work, right? I think that's their philosophy there. Because we see a higher count the Orikin Ace at 3 copies rather than like the 1 or 2 I see in some builds. The Alphamon's not proactively winning the game, but it gives you some really good early game plays. And then the Medieval's a good card. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to put in a deck. I just feel like this is a weird deck for it to try squeezing into, but that's my personal take.
It's really good in the mirror, though.
Yeah, it does stop the opponent's Omekamon. In case you don't have the Gatsu lined up when you go into BT13, or you try doing the Omeka into Omni X line, the Medieval does help out there. Especially like we've been saying as turn player. It's really big for Biting Crush, really big for Medieval. We go into our first Virus Imperial here. I know we've been talking for about like 8 minutes, just kind of bantering back and forth, but we just...
Salamon. Yeah, we were both looking at that.
Yeah, this is basically your 5th copy of Wormmon. You can push up from Raising, and you can use its main phase effect to go into Shadra, and then you can start your chain there. So if you don't have a Worm in Raising, but you have them in Trash, this is enough to get your combo started, because you go with Sala, Promo Shadow, Worm, Flame, and then you can follow your DNA lines into Dino Bee, pulling out Pyildra, swinging if it dies, go into your fighter mode. And that's pretty much the deck here. We do see a Demonic Disaster here, though. And
in the Valkyries, yeah.
Those are probably the
cool.
spicier cards there. I'm trying to figure out, what does Valkyries help with? Does it help with the mirror? That might be why they have it in there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's also blue-green Imperial. I mean, I guess they don't really have a way to digivolve into it, though, on their turn, unless they're just swinging into it.
Yeah, I think the whole idea is you have your 2 level 5s, and then if you have the Fighter Ace here, you can blast DNA from hand, so you don't need to have both the bodies on the board.
Oh yeah, you blast DNA from hand, and then if they remove it, you partition, and then you have another Ace follow up on that partition, maybe?
Yeah, it's just a pretty interesting line there, and I'm pretty sure that's what the intention was with the Valgaze. Demonic Disaster,
Interesting.
it's probably like a Blitz Omni for game scenario. Not quite
Yeah.
sure top of my head, but that's how I kind of see it.
Yeah, it's interesting because you could obviously just play Blitz Omni, or by Blitz Omni, like the new Omni X, because you're red top end.
Yeah,
So
you probably play out extra
interesting.
body spy effect. There's probably a line where you have like an extra Shadramon where you can play the extra body and then go into a flame and go up. So I can see that being
Oh,
another world.
maybe the Valgase is in there just to Digivolve on the 5 on your turn, and then Ruin Mode on top of it if you keep turn, just to give the minus 10k.
10k in your turn, then 5k lingering. It could be. But
Yeah, maybe.
really cool.
Would that would get rid of, like, if they have like any kind of Imperial stack with the partition on it, you remove the stack and then it gets rid of the little ones, stops them from Daviskin. Maybe.
True.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good way to break your opponent's board in the mirror. I think that's probably the bigger part there. But now we can go to our first Gallantmon deck here. And
Oh yeah, this is my favorite deck right now.
this is the deck you've been cooking a lot with. I know this is what you bring to locals pretty much every week, and you
It
definitely have this deck in mind every single time. Ratios, I don't think there's anything super crazy here. It's like you're running your good stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think a 4 Wargrowl X is crazy. A lot of people don't play 4 of it. I think it's absolutely absurd. That Sec +1 is just what lets you actually win games.
Yeah, it's an OTK line. Definitely an OTK line that a lot of people don't really like play to as much now, but it's definitely
Gives
an
you the
option.
protection.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Ratios of your 2 Tokadas here, ratios of your Exantes, because they come up in different scenarios. The reason they probably have more than BT9 Exante is obviously you have the Blitz line, but also you have the lines where you can slam the Gallant for effectively like free. Throw an Exante under it, you have Rush innately, so you swing, and then you go into your Gallant X.
Absolutely, it's really good. I'm on 3 of the normal Exante option, the BT9 one, no proto forms. I kind of view it like how you view the Gankumon, because if you're on your Gallant stack, if you don't have Takato for Blitz, it just kind of sucks. But having the Exante option lets you have Takato without having Takato.
Yeah, it like fills in the slot, like you're saying, wild slot.
It fills in the slot, and also it gives you your special Gallant effects as well. So it's a big wild card. It's a really good list. I'm surprised there's no Omni X, but other than that, it definitely looks pretty clean.
Yeah, I think it's really just for the fact that this is searchable off your rookie, right? Because you look for a Gallant name. Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, that's the only reason I would see that over the Omni X. But Omni X is effectively another Blitz Omni now. Then we go to our first Galaxy. If I had to take a guess, it's probably blue top end, copying the world's, or not copying, but inspired by the world's list. Yeah, so
I got the floodgates.
this is actually a really cool thing. So this is a red egg, so you do lean towards the red Evo rookies normally, but we do have the one Otama. You can't
Interesting.
scramble into the Otama. If we run blue scramble, you can't do that. But you can go into Luna. So do we have scramble? We do have scramble. We actually have Homer here.
Oh, okay.
Got Homer.
Interesting.
This is a toolbox of a build. You got the
That is a
Medivis,
crazy toolbox.
You got the Gallant X. So I guess it's probably worth talking about. This is the deck I want to. I've had so much fun with Galaxy lately, and there's lots of really good lines. I don't think a lot of people like really understand or respect half the time. But Homer, this is a really big memory enabler on your deck. Because if you use Homer to pull out a Lunamon and tuck a Lunamon underneath, you can chain the Lunamon and Lunamon for effectively +1 memory off of 3 memory play. Or if you already had like the Homer set up and you spit out the Lunamon with the Wankun, you're setting up for like real fast turbo memory gain shenanigans. Combined with the Tamer, you have really cool lines where you use Wankun, spit out Luna, tuck Lecky, Sorgao, use Tamer, peel the Luna underneath the Lecky Sorgao to go into either a level 6 on one stack for free, or you go into the level 5 on the respective stack. And when you have this Wankun Matgao combo, you're able to do a triple tap for 6 security checks with an extra swing. And if you have the Omni X, you can effectively do 9 security checks with a 10th check for game. Just in the hypothetical, you know.
Absolutely wild.
Yeah, it's basically Wankun eats up Matgao. Once it gets eaten up, you restand from Wankun. Matgao lets you restand, and ideally, if you're doing that line, your Apollomon's doing 3 checks for each swing, which in Galaxy, it's very easy to get your stacks that tall. But anyways, that can be like an entire like rant of all the combos for Galaxy on its own. But we're just looking at the toolbox. Medieval Gallants makes sense for a Royal Knight matchup. Examon, really good in the Royal Knight matchup. Gallant X, good for the Gallantmon matchups because it's really hard to break those boards. So you really rely on the Gallant X and the Omni X, I feel, in the... but I think that's probably your weakest matchup from this current build. I do like having the different gates, though, just because it gives you some flex options.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It was interesting seeing the Paladin Ace. I feel like a lot of lists have just cut him. I think the Imperial list that won wasn't even playing Paladin Ace, I don't think.
So we go back here. Yeah, they're not even on the level 7.
Yeah, like a lot of people have just cut it because there's not really a whole lot of relevant trash stuff going on with the ban list recently, but it's interesting to see it in there. I mean, I guess it's because it's more of an OTK option for this deck.
Yeah, I just want to say, like, if your opponent goes really wide, it gives you a way to respond to the bigger boards.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, so that's Galaxy. And then our first Sakuya here. GFG Peaches here, piloted. And this is what we probably see inspired from the third place Worlds list. Like, it's a very honest deck. You're chaining up, you're drawing a lot, but then you're playing Floodgates. You're playing the Valderarm for the Royal Knight matchup. You're playing the Ruin mode for the both versions of Imperial matchups. And you just have a lot of DP drain. We have a 1 of Blastfire. When's the last time you saw Blastfire in a list?
I honestly have no idea.
Reading the card for the first time since it came out and was like 1.0, 1.5.
Yeah, honestly.
But basically, this is for memory. You're playing a lot of options for free in the Sakuya deck. You're doing DP drains, and a 3k DP drain on any Digimon with this is effectively a removal.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Because it just changes their original DP, so makes them really small.
Yeah, really cool option to include there. Pause plugin probably helps like the Mastemon matchup if that's relevant still, or just be a 6k drain.
So does Blastfire. Blastfire's until the end of the opponent's turn.
Oh, it does. Holy cow, that lingers. I didn't even think about it. I want to swing.
BT1 lingering.
I want to swing with my Mastemon X. Ah, darn, I would die. I'm going to be 3k immune from Digimon effects. Oh.
I block with my 6k token.
Yeah, because was it Sakuya X makes the block tokens? No, it's the rush tokens. It's
that one. That one is.
Yeah, 6,000 Fox blocker tokens.
Yep.
Yeah, really cool decision there, and probably came up a lot if I had to guess. Just as like a really good surprise factor. Like, it can win you a game by itself.
Absolutely, it just lets you remove something you shouldn't be able to remove. Since like every inherit, I think almost all your inherits have a minus 2k drain when you play an option. A lot of them do. So
yeah.
You get a lot of those stacked up.
One thing to point out, we have the Wizardmon. Was it when this Digimon data witchingly would leave battle area by effects, trash top scarce. So it's like a budget barrier effect. Because that's why the Starmons comes up a lot with Royal Knights being in format. You have lots of big DP bodies. If you're swinging at the Valder for the 2 checks and restanding from your inherits, was it the Tau that gives the restand? I think it is. No, it's not the Tau. What is it?
It's the Sakuya X. Sakuya X gives the restand.
Okay. So I want to say, I know there's a restand option in there. But yeah, but if you're swinging, you run into like one of the Omnis and you crash, like you just lose your entire stack. It goes away super fast.
Yeah.
So that's why you run the generic barrier, because you don't have the traits for the Wizardmon, but it's still a really good card, especially if you're swinging with your level 6s more often. So that's Sakuya, and then we do have one.
Angels, here we go.
This was your former deck you played last format.
This was, yes.
And I'm trying to see if there's anything that stands out that I never saw you really using in your build. We got the Valder. It's a good card. We got the Medieval.
Yeah.
It's a good card. So it's pretty much same toolbox.
Brilliant.
You just run the new good cards.
It's playing the Rapidmon without the Rapid X, which is immediately the most interesting thing I see. It's just playing it as a level 4. So that's interesting. And it cut the Gato down to 3.
And it gives you an option for Pada, because Pada goes into it because it's yellow vaccine. So yeah, it's just extra level 4 targets.
Yeah, Pillowmon's crazy this format, so that makes sense.
Yeah, play by effects, and we're realizing floodgates are a really big part of it. But that covers all the unique decks from this regional. Just real quickly, because I think it'll be more fun coverage for this format. Every single week, Mondays and Thursdays, I run webcam locals for the Eagle's Nest, and Eggman also puts up my events every once in a while if I ask him to. And we have a really cool one I want to show here. We talked about Royal Knights, we talked about Biosphere, we talked about Gallant. Have we talked about Mastemon though? This has been the deck.
Absolutely not. We have not talked about Mastemon.
I have been DM'd by like 20 people when I made my post on Facebook with the graphic asking, where's this Mastemon list? So we're going to go ahead and pull it up. They finished Alan H. or I. Lamau on his limitless name, piloted Mastemon to an X1 finish in a 45-player webcam local of mine on Monday. And we show this deck. I just want to explain it for a really quick glance. When I'm looking at this, it looks like it is your floodgates for memory, floodgates for play by effects, your floodgates for on play effects, your floodgates for Imperial.
Yeah.
It is Mastemon with a floodgate core, is how I basically see it. Or it's your Maste core with floodgate as your tech options.
Very much looks like it. Does Mastemon, I'm not too familiar with the deck, does it have the ability to recur those level 3s?
Recur the level 3s, I believe you have the ability to throw them your Maste effect to get play them into your security and play them out level 5 or lower.
Oh yeah, so you can definitely just keep using those same level 3s.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just like your DNA stuff for your level 5s. I know it's been a hot moment since I've read a lot of the Maste cards.
So if you... Oh, okay, so you Digivolve into your Angelmon or Lady Devimon, tap the Mirai to play the other for free. You just DNA into Mastemon, choose any Floodgate rookie to play for free, and then you just do Valor Arm or Ruin Mode on top of the Maste. You just choose your Floodgate rookie, then choose your level 7 Floodgate.
Yeah, it's just that easy, guys.
It's that easy. It's that easy. It's crazy.
Yeah, just shout outs to people who play my webcam locals. So if you guys want to make appearance in these graphics, definitely check out our webcam locals. We're live every Monday, every Thursday. Risu the Squirrel streams the events. And we do have one other event I do want to touch on. This was pre-banless, but some of the topping decks weren't affected by the banless. Obviously, a lot of people were excited for new tools. They played out the Royal Knights deck, but the winning of my largest webcam event was a 48-player event. Examon actually took first place. And this was streamed in the finals and the semifinals. Another really cool deck inclusion, Utamamon for the Royal Knight matchup came up a lot. Medieval Gallant came up a lot. And honestly, the ratios for this build of Examon I thought was really cool how we're leaning into our package. We have emphasis of the Ace and the EX3 Exa. Obviously, EX3 Exa is your typical boss monster. But just from a quick glance of the deck, I think it's a really cool build. Shout out to Neek for winning my largest webcam local, being the only undefeated after 5 rounds.
And it's only going to get better. We get a whole new wave of stuff.
Yes, we do get the Draco X. Draco X actually looks really good. I'm excited to see how that would perform for the deck. Any other notes from you on this deck? I know we just kind of really touched on it.
Not particularly. I mean, this deck just bullies Gallantmon, and I hate it. But other than that, yeah, they just force Gallantmon to attack, and they just redirect it into this much bigger guy.
Yeah, pretty massive guy.
Yep. Yeah, you'd have to go like Gallantmon and then Gallant X in the raising area to even do anything. It's awful.
Yeah, but if you guys want to watch the stream, it's live on Eggman's site, the live stream, along with the Limitless pairings. If you guys want to follow through with these events, we have all the deck lists public on the Eagle's Nest Limitless page. So that being said, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed our little banter back and forth, and take care and have a nice one, y'all.
Absolutely. Have a good one.